booties for black girl nerds.
Hi, Alyssa with Black Girl Nerds. I love that we're all wearing white. I didn't even know
You
that.
got the memo
It's
too.
so
This is amazing. This was an accident.
yeah, we really rolled in here this way, and
I love it. I love to be a part of it. So it's so great to meet both of you. I absolutely adored you both in this show, and it was just so much fun
You.
to watch.
Thank you. That's so
thanks.
nice of you to say.
Course. So I wanted to take a moment to say that I got a little bit of like a Samantha Jones, Sex and the City vibe from your character, Michelle. I wanted to know first, like, were there any, like, I know you took a lot from the podcast and even like working with Nikki herself. Were there any characters that inspired your portrayal of Molly and just kind of working off of what was given to you?
It was really Molly. It was like Molly herself. It was Molly's voice shining through the podcast. This like bemused observer. That's what when I listen to the podcast, I hear her recounting her experiences, and it's with so much love but also attention to the details and appreciation of the humor, the absurdity, the hilarity of following an instinct and finding yourself in an unexpected situation or position with somebody that you don't really know that well, and learning about how varied human sexuality can be, and that people want things that will surprise them and you. And then I actually kind of relate it to her illness. Like, her body does things against her will, and she learns how to adapt to them and also with them, and then also incorporate them, which I thought was like such a beautiful healing way forward, that she can take aspects of her illness that might have stopped her in the tracks of her journey, but in fact she finds a way through humor to use it to her advantage. And I was like, okay, that's how I want to live my life. Like, that's the mindset that I want to take. So I really drew from that spirit.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool approach to, especially like I feel like I've seen a lot of shows about illness and especially cancer, but it's nice to see the balance of like the lightheartedness in addition to those, heartwarming moments where obviously people are dealing with the loss of somebody close to them. Jenny, I was really intrigued by Nikki's role as caregiver, especially when it becomes overwhelming to her. Did you ever find yourself frustrated with her, especially like, her choices and the way she could set boundaries because she's also dealing with her friend going through this and it's still really hard for her.
oh, I can see why Nikki's sister, who isn't really in the center of the situation, feels frustrated, because she doesn't understand the engagement that they're in. Personally, no, I never felt frustrated. I felt that Nikki's dedication to be with Molly while she is at once like finally living and also on her way to physical death. I I felt that like that was a really beautiful choice for her, and I didn't judge the character's choice at all. And generally, I mean, I think this is like especially important just now in the world that they're in. A person should not have to be perfect or exactly know what the outcome will be in order to make a choice that makes them feel the most connected to their best self and the people they love and the way they want to spend their time. And Nikki doesn't make the decision to care for Molly because she thinks she's going to become a saint in the end, or because she believes that she is the absolute perfect person to do it in terms of like being responsible and not forgetting, DVDs and stuff. But yeah, I felt excited by the character's choice and also inspired.
Yeah, no, that's such a good way to put it because it's definitely a hard situation for both of them, but just seeing the support, and I loved how you two, like, your friendship seems so real to me. I hope you're friends in real life because it's very much like a good connection. But I really appreciate talking to you, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
appreciate it. And it's true, friends IRL.
Yay! Hi, Jay. How are you doing?
Good. Hi, Alyssa. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I really loved this show a lot, especially your character, because I found him to be super relatable in a lot of people's kind of reactions to dealing with a loved one becoming very sick, in this case, sick again. So I was really curious about your character's been through a lot already at the start of the show. So I thought it was interesting, especially like going through a lot with their marriage for a long time and, two cancer diagnosis, I should say. How did you and Michelle approach building that chemistry and just kind of going through that?
Yeah, thanks. I would say that, well, first of all, we're both married. We both understand uh, that level of commitment and that level of intimacy. So I think we had a little bit of a shorthand to, and we've both been in long-term relationships. So we had that shorthand of just, really being with someone for a long time, having a shorthand, not having to say everything on the nose. I loved the idea that Steve, who is essentially the villain of the show, is a really smart and effective guy who helped Molly get into remission after her first bout with cancer. That's what I relied on mostly as an actor, to the confidence to know that his anal protocols of, drinking smoothies and sleeping well and, just getting everything just right, they really worked. And there's something great about that because it's so much to rely on. The audience knows that he's coming with the best of intentions, and I think that's one of the most exciting things about it, is that everyone really is just trying to do their best. And what's culture breaking and important about the show, I think, is that Steve is you know as good as he may be, that's not what Molly needs right now. And that's not how our culture treats us to, teaches us how to deal with disease. And we do need a shift, not just in terms of like really listening to the people that we love, but also, we live in a culture where women's desires and needs have been underfoot for, since the beginning of time. So, I think the show is a really beautiful exploration of what is really needed right now.
No, you're absolutely right because I think the only thing that would make him the villain is just the detachment that he develops, which is totally understandable. Like you want to take care of your partner, but I think this series is incredibly raw and it doesn't shy away from those difficult moments. What were there any scenes that you found particularly tough or surprising to film, especially involving the sexual detachment that your character goes through?
Yeah, I think the hardest scene for me to film was the blowjob scene where there was a lot of physical exposure. It's um, it's very sexually intimate. It's very funny, and I also had to go from a highly choreographed sex scene to having like my biggest emotional moment on the show, which is this breakdown of like the fact that when I feel her breasts, it reminds me of the previous cancer, and it makes me think of losing her. So I had a lot of trepidation walking into that, but of course, I'm working with the great Michelle Williams, one of the greatest living actors of our time, and it was wonderful. We were able to just like focus on each other and return to that place of intimacy and that place of love where everything blossoms from appropriately. So it was scary, but it was also fun and ridiculous. And, it had the feeling when we were shooting like, wow, we're really shooting something here. Every once in a while you're shooting something and you're just like, what even was that? That was not the case for that scene. That scene was many, many things, and we all knew it on the day.
Yeah, that I could definitely understand how that would be challenging. And I was also really curious in keeping with that, what was your reaction to seeing your character's ability to move on after Molly decided she didn't want to continue with the marriage? Like, what did you see in that, especially like his willingness to move on with someone else? It was already said that she was pregnant. Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, that was a bit of a challenge as an actor because after the first two episodes, I show up sporadically, and many things have developed for my character as well as her character. So, you know, there is a little bit of pressure in this show to get it right, just because we are standing on the shoulders of the real Molly and the real Nikki, and you want to do right by them, you know. So I don't know. I felt very in tune with the story as it was developing, even when I wasn't here. And you know, when you invest that much as an actor, I got jealous. I got jealous when she didn't want to be with me, with Steve, you know, and I had all the feelings. And, you know, and then I met my new girlfriend, the woman who's going to play my new girlfriend, and connected with her. And those are weird feelings. And then bringing her into the hospital room to meet Molly, I mean, there was a lot of palpable reality to it. The show is so vulnerable. The show is about finding your way and creating your own reality. And I felt like we were all doing that as actors as well too. Like, it was such a delicate balance and such a beautiful and complicated tone to achieve that we were just sort of like, we had to kind of just relinquish control and like walk in a vulnerable state. So I felt like the process of acting was very much akin to the process of, like, you know, watching somebody die.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful portrayal, and I really loved talking to you about this today, and I just really appreciate your time. So thank you so
Yeah.
much today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.